Good evening. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is James Carling and I go to Grange Road Baptist Church. First of all, I'd just like to apologise for not actually being there at the meeting tonight, which David has kindly organised. My work surprised me last week with a mandatory business trip, which falls over the Tuesday and Wednesday. So, although I'll be travelling back on the Wednesday night, I actually won't be back in time to see you all. I might actually be on the train as you're listening to this. I'm especially disappointed to not meet anyone who might have come from Corporation Road or any of the other churches around Darlington. But hopefully I'll get the chance to meet any of you in the future. I will remember to put my mobile number and email address in here somewhere. So if you want to talk to me anymore or ask me any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Okay, so hopefully all of you will have some idea that this is about reaching out to people within our community in Darlington. And all I'm really adding to proceedings tonight is an insight into my experiences with a project like this. I went to university in Sheffield, and it was there that I became a Christian. In the church that I attended, we were encouraged to meet throughout the week in smaller home groups called clusters, and each of these clusters had a particular missional focus. So I tried several of these to try and get a good fit, and ended up being part of a cluster called Radiate. They all had cool, catchy names like Radiate or Ignite or Transform and things like that. Anyway, Radiate's mission was to hand out water bottles to people after a night out. Because unfortunately, I come from a generation where alcohol in excess is not only accepted, but openly encouraged. Some of the venues we visited served infamous drinks such as quad vods, which I'm sure you won't be surprised to hear was quadruple vodkas and mixers, and these were not expensive. A quad vod and mixer would probably set you back about £2. With inflation they went up to £2.20, so, and people would have a lot of these and would come out of these clubs or be turfed out in some cases, and they could be freezing in very few clothes, disorientated, depressed, lost, feeling alone, and oftentimes were feeling sick or were sick. And we were just a bunch of students. We weren't there to judge. Many of us had been in the same situation, sometimes more than once. We were just there to spread God's kindness with water bottles, and we put little stickers on them with a quote from 1 John 4 verse 19. We love because he first loved us. So sometimes it was great. We had some great reactions from people. Sometimes people would really open up about their faith, what they knew about Christianity. They would ask questions, talk about maybe a faith that they'd moved away from. Bouncers thanking us for being a calming influence, that nights were less violent just by us being there. We got to make sure that people got home safely, or at the worst of times, that they got an ambulance when they needed one. Sometimes people weren't so open to what we were doing. People sometimes refused water, thinking it was a scam, and one guy actually snatched the water from my hand when I was offering it to him, and he was triumphant that the joke was on me. He'd got the water from me and I hadn't been able to convert him. So there you go. More often than not, people would ask us why we were doing it. They thought that we were paid by the club, or that we were part of some publicity stunt or something like this, that we were advertising something. And people found it quite hard to believe that we were actually paying for water just to give out to people. You know, oftentimes people would just take it with a polite thank you, and we'd say nothing else. So we often didn't know what impact our actions were having, but it was okay. We were just there to shine a light for people who needed it. We love because He first loved us, and we were there to spread that love. So the practicalities of a project like this were not complicated. It was just a small group of us, and we organised it with little to no involvement from the church at large. We just had a single bank account, which a very trustworthy member of our cluster used to order all the water bottles from. And we all paid in when we could, just to keep the water flowing. It wasn't a lot. We would pay in a few pounds every fortnight, maybe every couple of weeks. So about maybe like £2 a week or something like that. Really not very much, and it would just be ticking over. And then every fortnight we'd get together, usually eat together beforehand, and then pray about what we were going to do, and that God would be moving through us, and then we'd just head out onto the streets. Where we went was based on where we thought God wanted us, and then we just handed out our water and interacted with people until all the water was gone. It's really a simple idea, but it's one that I think helps us to live out the gospel and make a difference to people's days or nights. And it moves us out into the community and gives us a chance to reach out and possibly have some great discussions or relationships with people that we may not usually encounter, or who may have little to no knowledge of church. I'm just really encouraged and excited by people's enthusiasm for this project. Thank you all for coming tonight. It's something that is quite close to my heart, and I feel like God's put it on my heart. So I'll be praying about it, and I hope that if nothing else comes of tonight, you could pray for it too. And who knows what we could see come from something like this. So that's pretty much all from me. Thank you all for listening, and I look forward to talking with you soon.